Coming up on today's show, we got some big trade rumors to get to. Could Zaven Collins transition from one divisional rival to another, from Arizona to Seattle? We will discuss that possibility coming up in just a matter of moments. Also, Mike Jackson, the Seahawks corner, could he be on the trade block before the season begins? We will talk about that coming up in just a little while from right now. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. All month long, we've been battling the Cowboys Report in a like battle. Tom Downey told us, he said, there's no way you guys can get 1,000 likes on a single video. The best you've done all month is 712. And I said, Tom, we are going to do it. This is our last chance to get to 1,000 likes this month. We're going to make it happen. We need the 712 likes and then some. We need 288 on top of that to get to 1,000 likes. And if we do that, folks, then we're going to win the like battle against the Cowboys Report. So make it happen. Like the video. Make a cowgirl upset. Do your part, and we'll get started here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Trade for Zaven Collins. The folks at Bleacher Report are recommending that the Seahawks trade for the Cardinals edge rusher. He hasn't been in the league too long, a former first-round pick out of the University of Tulsa, but hasn't been as good as advertised, if you will, to begin his NFL career to this point. Granted, he hasn't been in a very good situation in Arizona, but does it make sense for the Seahawks to give Collins a change of scenery, if you will? Alex Ballantyne from Bleacher Report said the following. Zaven Collins is a vestige of Steve Keim era in Arizona. The linebacker turned edge rusher was supposed to be a dynamic pairing with Isaiah Simmons, but neither were able to translate their versatility to the NFL with the Cards. Mike McDonald is just getting started with the Seahawks, but his work with Kyle Van Noy last season would indicate he could get the most out of Collins. Van Noy has always been a hybrid off-ball linebacker edge rusher. He had a career-high 9 sacks in McDonald's defense last season. The Seahawks have an intriguing mix of need on the edge and linebacker. Jerome Baker and Terrell Dodson are free agent acquisitions and could start off the ball. Uchenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, and Darrell Taylor are a decent trio off the edge. Collins could fit in nicely in a hybrid role with a creative coach to tap into his upside. So already this sounded like an intriguing trade to me, of just the idea of bringing in Zaven Collins. But then taking it a step further, of what Bleacher Report is proposing here, is all the Seahawks have to give up is a 2025 sixth-round pick for a player that was a first-rounder just a few years ago. To me, that sounds like a no-brainer. I know intra-division trades are very rare in the NFL, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. We saw T.J. Hockenson go from the Detroit Lions to the Minnesota Vikings a couple of years ago. I think everybody thinks about Drew Bledsoe going from the New England Patriots to the Buffalo Bills. They happen more than you think, and this is a Cardinals team that is rebuilding, and more than likely they're done with Zaven Collins anyway. If I have to just give up a sixth-round pick, I'm doing this in a heartbeat when it comes to Zaven Collins. To me, this makes a ton of sense for the Seahawks. There's not a ton of risk here. The reward far outweighs the risk. A guy that has played in 40 games with 29 starts. The Cardinals declined his fifth-year option, which will make him a free agent next offseason. So from the Seahawks standpoint, all right, you're not going to get a player better than Zaven Collins in the sixth round in next year's draft. Just being honest here, right? And so if you bring in Zaven Collins to the mix and it doesn't work out, then what did you lose when it's all said and done, right? You can just let him walk next offseason and go from there. But if you can get him to take that step up from 3.5 sacks last year, and if he could be a really good contributor, then you're talking about the Seahawks defense giving him another contract, probably at a very reasonable rate, if you will, and getting a young player that the comparison to Kyle Van Noy there, if he's going to be a carbon copy of Kyle Van Noy, sign me up. I think this makes a ton of sense for the Seahawks. I know edge rusher isn't their top priority right now, but this, I think, would be too good to pass up if this opportunity is actually in front of them. Should Seattle trade for Zaven Collins? What do you guys think? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to go for last-minute tickets for the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Here's how it works. You choose the event you want to go to. Let's say you want to go to a Seattle Mariners game or a Seahawks preseason game, whatever it may be. You choose the event. They got the prices listed. Then you choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not. You get the visual, and then you go from there, and you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers, just like that in a matter of moments. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Another suggestion from Bleacher Report was that the Seahawks should move on from corner Mike Jackson, and in particular send him to the Minnesota Vikings, a team that is needing some help at the outside corner spot. And one thing that we've told you over the last several months here on this program is that there's a pretty decent chance that whoever doesn't win the starting corner job between Tre Brown and Mike Jackson very likely could be dealt a loser leaves town situation, because there's enough teams, like Minnesota for that matter, that need outside corner help, and both guys are starter quality. Ballantyne, writing the following for Bleacher Report, says, the Seattle Seahawks have a surplus of cornerback talent. The position group was already solid with Rick Woolen, Devin Witherspoon, and Tre Brown. Then they went and added Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James in the draft. It makes a player like Michael Jackson a little more expendable as they look to build this defense to Mike McDonald's liking. Jackson was a starter for the Seahawks in 2022, giving up a passer rating of just 75.1. He fell out of favor with the Seahawks coaching staff in 2023, starting just 4 games, playing 40% of the defensive snaps, and giving up a passer rating of 95.1. McDonald's coaching staff might like Jackson, but trading him would free up some snaps for younger players and potentially bring back a draft pick. So, what would a trade look like? Well, according to Bleacher Report, the Seahawks could move on from Mike Jackson and get a 5th-round pick in return. So if you did both trades, for example, then you're going to end up with Zaven Collins and a 5th-round pick compared to not having Zaven Collins. You give up Mike Jackson and your 6th-round pick and all that. If you do both trades, you come out, I think, in a much better situation, quite frankly. Now, let's go back to the Tre Brown situation. Tre Brown and Mike Jackson here. With how good Tre Brown has looked in training camp, all right, he straight up outplayed Mike Jackson. He's looked really good to this point throughout the last several days. There might not be a place for Mike Jackson, right? Just simply put, when you look at this rotation that already has Rick Woolen, that already has Devin Witherspoon, Mike Jackson might be the odd man out. And we saw last year when Tre Brown initially won the job in training camp over Mike Jackson wasn't even getting on the field, right? So this could be the right time to get something for him while you still can. Are the Seahawks better off taking a 5th-round pick rather than Mike Jackson just riding the bench? I say yes. What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks trade Mike Jackson? Why for yes and for no? Weigh in the comments section. Let us know what you think. Seahawks Today is your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks, as we're bringing you live shows twice a week throughout the offseason. We also have watch parties coming up very, very soon, as me and Smitty will be live for the Seahawks-Chargers first preseason game coming up next Saturday night. You will not want to miss out on that. And if there's any breaking news between now and then, we're going to bring you a video here on the channel as quick as we can. Best part about it, it is 100% free to subscribe to Seahawks Today. Join the family of 12s. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now, and you will be glad you did. More on Mike Jackson, a 2019 fifth-round pick out of the University of Miami by the Dallas Cowboys. Went on to play for the Lions and the Patriots. Been a bit of a journeyman, if you will. 38 career games played with 21 total starts. And for me, I'll take Tre over Mike. If this is a decision choosing between one of the two of them with shipping off the other, I'll take Tre Brown every single time. And think about this too, all right? I know it's a new coaching staff, but management for the most part is still the same, with John Schneider leading the way. And for Schneider, Tre Brown is his guy. That's his investment. They don't have that same investment into Mike Jackson in that sense. And so if you look at the numbers, in less games that Tre Brown played in compared to Mike Jackson last year, he had the same amount of tackles for loss, had more pass breakups and more interceptions. And I think we all think about the game against the Detroit Lions where Tre Brown just went off that day. I've seen more of Tre Brown play an elite level than I've seen out of Mike Jackson. The cornerback room right now for the Seahawks at the moment, Jackson, Woolen, and Witherspoon are there. Tre Brown, of course, competing for that starting role, and a lot to still figure out. We'll see where Pritchett and James ultimately fall into the equation here, but I'll say this as we wrap it up. The Seahawks are at least in a very good situation here when it comes to this cornerback room. This is much improved. They're in a very good spot to figure this out one way or the other. If you could pick one to keep, are you with me? Are you keeping Tre or are you keeping Mike Jackson? If you got to move on from one of them, let us know. Type who you would like to keep, Tre for Tre Brown, Mike for Mike Jackson. Weigh in, let us know in the comments section. If you enjoyed today's show, want to stick it to the Cowboy fans, like today's video, we certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.